Wano might just have some of the best world building in One Piece. To be fair though, it did have an awfully long time to set up. Still, Wano has a royal family in the capital, along with a rich history of other noble clans that inhabit the different regions. So in this discussion, I'm going to explain how each clan contributed to the history of Wano. Be warned that this video does contain manga spoilers. Before I get started, make sure to comment with your thoughts on the clans of Wano. I'll pick my favorite and share it as comment of the week in the next video. This week's comment comes from Star Destroyer 19, who did a great job talking about Kinemon. Also, it was decided on Twitter that we'll have a Q&A video to celebrate reaching 500 subscribers. So leave me a question in the comments and I'll answer as many as I can. But if you'd like regular One Piece and Dr. Stone videos like this one, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can follow along with each week's video. With that out of the way, let's look at Wano as a whole. The main island is split into 6 regions: Kuri, Udon, Kibi, the flower capital, Hakumai, and Ringo. This is excluding the One Piece Cross Kyoto event, which is non-canon. Before Orochi, each region was delegated to one family and led by one daimyo. The family in the capital is led by the shogun, who governs the capital and all of Wano. In the flashback, there were 6 noble families: Fugetsu, Amatsuki, Uzuki, Kurozumi, Shimotsuki, and then the Kozuki. It's implied that these families have all been around for centuries because both the Amatsuki and Kozuki clans go back to at least the Void Century. And with the exception of the Kurozumi, each clan has the kanji for moon in their name. It's unclear why this is, but some speculate that the people of Wano originate from the moon. Finally, it should be noted that all of the regions except for Kuri used to have their own Yakuza boss. In other words, all the daimyo followed the shogun, and the yakuza all followed the boss in the flower capital. So with that broader context, let's take a look at the Fugetsu clan. Their family name has the kanji for moon and wind, and that's pretty much it. We know they had their own daimyo, but we're never told which region they governed. Speaking of which, the daimyo we see has a massive head. I mean, just look at that sucker. This man literally has a potato for a head. Considering we don't know much about them, and their leader is Mr. Potato Head, we can safely assume the Fugetsu family was a rather modest clan. On a similar note, we also have the Uzuki clan. Their family name has the kanji for moon and rain, but Uzuki also happens to be the old Japanese word for April. Again, all we know is that they have a daimyo who governs some unconfirmed region. And if you ask me, this daimyo has some serious Count Dooku action going on. Seriously, this man has the biggest chin and nose I think I've ever seen. But these are basically the 2 gap filler clans. They are important, but there isn't really much else to say about them. Moving on, we'll take a look at the Amatsuki clan. Their family name has the kanji for moon and the kanji for heaven. Actually, the heaven kanji has several meanings based on the use and context, but can generally be understood as heaven. Like the previous clans, the Amatsuki were led by an unnamed daimyo who governed one of Wano's regions. But unlike those clans, the Amatsuki actually have some history behind them. The only named member, Toki, claims to have come from roughly 800 years in the past. For whatever reason, some of the Amatsuki left Wano roughly 800 years ago, while some stayed with the daimyo. So while we don't know much else, the little hints we do get make the Amatsuki clan one of the most mysterious families in Wano. Finally, it should be noted that Toki originally wore a kimono with a crescent moon design. This may be the symbol of the Amatsuki clan, but it could just be unique to Toki. Next, let's look at the Kurozumi clan. The Kurozumi clan breaks the moon trend, with their name meaning black charcoal. The only named members are Orochi, Kanjuro, Higurashi, and Semimaru. Before Sukiyaki was born, it seemed like the shogun wasn't going to have an heir. In the midst of political unrest, Orochi's grandfather, one of Wano's daimyo, began poisoning the other daimyo in an effort to become the next shogun. When Sukiyaki was born, the Kurozumi plot was exposed. As a result, the daimyo was forced to commit seppuku, the entire clan became outcasts, and were all made to live in fear. A couple generations later, the late daimyo's grandson, Orochi, was approached by Higurashi and Semimaru. Now, Higurashi is probably the most mysterious member considering she knows the face of Shiki. Obviously, she met Shiki if she knows his face. But one can only wonder how many other pirates she met when she left Wano. Either way, she and Semimaru approached Orochi, and the three of them would later seize control of Wano and wipe out the other clans. As a result, the Kozuki clan fell to pieces, and Kaido made Wano his official territory. Speaking of which, let's move on to the Kozuki family. Keeping with the moon trend, their family has the kanji for moon and light. Like the Amatsuki, the Kozuki clan has been around for at least 800 years, as they are the creators of the poneglyphs. In fact, part of the Kozuki tradition is teaching one's children how to read the poneglyphs. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Oda never taught Momo or Hiyori how to read them. Regardless, since they are the poneglyph creators, there's a strong chance the Kozuki family is somehow connected to the Void Century. Equally mysterious is their family crest. In addition to the bird, it also has this arrangement of circles. Considering the whole moon trend and the fact it looks strangely similar to this model seen at Ohara, the safe guess is that this is some sort of celestial formation. Aside from these two mysteries, we also know the Kozuki family has been around for a long time because of their relationship with Zou. As Oden explains, the Kozuki family and the Minks have an ancient agreement to support each other. Now, it's unclear if the Kozuki clan has always ruled Wano, but their rule goes back at least as far as Oden's grandfather. Assuming they always ruled the capital, Oden extended this rule when he conquered Kuri. After that, Sukiyaki ruled Wano, and Oden became the daimyo of Kuri, meaning that the Kozuki clan governed 2 regions of Wano. Finally, one little fun fact is that all the men are named after food. Oden and Sukiyaki are both hot pot, and Momo is the Japanese word for peach. But now let's look at my personal favorite, the Shimotsuki clan. Their family name has the kanji for moon and frost. But Shimotsuki also happens to be the old Japanese word for November, literally translating to the month of frost. And if it weren't for the Kozuki clan, the Shimotsuki would be the most powerful family in all of Wano. At least during the reign of Sukiyaki, the Shimotsuki clan ruled over 2 regions of Wano. Yasue governed Hakumai, and Ushimaru governed Ringo. And in Hakumai, as Yasue explains, the Shimotsuki are responsible for guarding Wano's only proper port from invaders. As a result, the Shimotsuki seem to prioritize their strength in order to fulfill this duty. This is actually supported by Kawamatsu, who tells Hiyori that the Shimotsuki were famed for their hardiness. In fact, the Shimotsuki in Ringo would actually be buried with the swords they were given as children, and their fame for swordsmanship makes a ton of sense in retrospect. First of all, it's the same clan Ryuma comes from. Ryuma was actually born in Ringo and was buried with his sword, Chusui, following tradition. As we all know, Ryuma is famous for slaying a dragon in Wano, and his life is almost identical to the character of the same name in Oda's one-shot, Monsters. Then you have Kozaburo, who forged Enma and the Wado Ichimonji. It was also revealed in the SBS for chapter 968 that Kozaburo was the one who founded Shimotsuki village in East Blue. Kozaburo left Wano, saved the village from bandits, and settled down while training the village in swordsmanship. His son, Koshiro, continued this tradition by inheriting the dojo. What this means is that Zoro was trained by the Shimotsuki family, learned the phrase snatch from Kozaburo, and now possesses both of the swords he forged. So, while all of the clans are interesting to study, the Shimotsuki clan is undeniably the most badass family in all of Wano. And that's it for this discussion. Make sure to share your thoughts and give me a question for the Q&A video. If you enjoyed this discussion, then make sure to like the video. If you'd like more videos like this one, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for weekly One Piece and Dr. Stone videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.